Good afternoon. So I'm Nuno Garcia. I'm from the University of Beira Interior and from the Institute of Telecommunications in Portugal. And I'm here today to talk to you about innovation in health and well-being. And I want to talk to you about the roadmap to the design of a personal digital life coach. So I hope I don't get too boring with you. I have to warn you, I have no cat pictures. Sorry. We can meow if you want. Thank you. And besides that, as you will see from my slides, I'm not a designer, okay? I have terrible taste and, I just put the ideas and throw them in, and hopefully, I hope to compensate this lack of skills regarding design with my relative skills on communication. Okay, so this worked perfectly a couple of minutes ago. Come on, honestly? Okay, so I will not show you the agenda. So this is the idea, this is a dream, okay? Sometime in the future, maybe not too far away, we'll have in our mobile devices a system that will act like a digital counselor and will help me to achieve my own life goals. And this system will be able to understand what things I've done during the day. It will be able to let me know what things I did right and what things I should be doing right. And it will also help me communicate with other similar systems as a means to get data from other persons that, like me, have similar goals. This may be achieved not just using software, maybe some software and maybe some hardware. We don't have yet the full idea on how this is done, but we'll get to that. Okay, so this is what I have to do this. So we called this system the Personal Digital Life Coach. And the key words for this concept are clearly personal, because it's a system that's going to relate to me, not to my brother, not to my son, not to my colleague. It's going to interact with me. And coach. As you know, coaching is a significant activity these days, but I want it to be even more personal. I don't want to spend time with some human coaching because I have too many things to do, because my goals are not so interesting, because it's just a small goal. So I want to be digital, and it's doable. So who needs a personal digital life coach? So I'm starting with a Portuguese popular saying that goes, conselhos e copos d'água só se dão a quem os quer. And this means that advices and glasses of water, give them only to those who ask for it. And this is actually a very valuable piece of advice, because, if you're not thirsty, then what's the point of someone giving you a glass of water, right? And if you're not in need of it, what's the point of giving you a glass of water? It's the same with advice. If you don't need advice, what's the point of giving you an advice? I mean, I can give you tons of advices, but you probably won't even pay attention because you don't need them. So the value of this popular saying is exactly the same value for the personal digital life coach. So the life coach is supposed to help those who need help and not those who really don't need help, because those are fine. They don't need anything. And this was a starting point for this. A personal digital life coach must be able to monitor my activities. It also should be able to recognize my state of mind. For example, if I call someone I know very well, if I call a friend on the phone, I am able to say if my friend is tired, if he is stressed, or if he is sad, or if he is happy. And why shouldn't a system also be able to monitor some of my conversation with my friend and tell, you look too tired today, so instead of staying late and work, why don't you just take a break and go home? Or, this friend of yours is hanging on the bar, and go and pay him a visit. For example, something like this. But if things get too complicated, this system should also be able to interact between me and my immediate caregivers, being this my family, my doctor, my nurse, my physician, whatever. Here we go again. This system has to be a shift in the paradigm of enhanced living environments, or assisted living as we call it, because it should firstly focus on the user and on her necessities, and only afterwards focus on the interaction between the user and environment. This is what I call the change from the wheelchair approach. Because when somebody has to use a wheelchair, the solution aims to solve the problems of the interaction between the person and the environment, namely the locomotion. But it doesn't focus really on the user, on the needs of the user. Unfortunately, it cannot focus on the needs of the user because there's no solution, right? Many people use wheelchairs. Unfortunately, they really have to use wheelchairs, and we don't have, at this point in our civilization, a better solution for them. But regarding these systems, these softwares, we can actually focus them more on the users and less on the interaction with the system, with the environment. And this is what I think it has to be done. It will also have to cope with the significant issue that our societies change a lot. We change a long time, our families change a long time, our circle of friends changes a long time, and even for us, being old is something that is not clear. A couple of decades ago, a people that was 60 years was actually an old people. Today, if you are 60, you are still enjoying much of your health and much of your free time, and you're still much enjoying life as you were when you were 40. So these kind of systems have to be devised right now, not for the people who are 60, who are 70 right now, but for us. And when we reach 60 or 70, eventually these systems have evolved so much that they will be able to really be that magical digital friend that lives inside the box and is actually capable of giving me good advices. Because we, as you know, live right now in an always connected world, always informed, sometimes always misinformed, but this is what life is about. And I also expect that the PDLC also is able to cope with this. It will act as a gateway between me and my digital universe. It will be an active gateway in the sense that it will not just limit itself to monitor my communications, my interactions. It will also gather information on me and share that information with other PDLCs in order to give me back more meaningful information. It will allow me to know more about myself because it will be able to monitor my emotions, my state of mind. It, for example, will be able to tell me, okay, every Friday at 4 o'clock you are really tired, so maybe you should change something here in your agenda to make your week run a bit longer. Or maybe you should just cut the day in noon on Friday. This is some goals I'm stating, these basically ideas. And now for a quick change, sort of a parenthesis, I'm going to talk to you about our cost action. Cost action is a cooperation in science and technology. It has been around in Europe for a very long time. It's even prior to the European Union. And I actually have the honor to share these architectures, algorithms, and platforms for enhanced living environments. This is an action that started in 2013, and it will end in November 2017. I'm bringing this to you because, for one, you may be interested to join our cost action. For two, you may be interested to find some other cost actions that are already running and may fit your interests. Okay? So our cost action is called Appeal. Cost actions are funded through the H2020 program, and my cost action in particular, it gathers experts from 32 cost countries, including most of Europe, Turkey, and Israel. We have this base camp site that has currently over 300 members registered, and we exchange ideas. So the background and the problem statement for our cost action was to build a network of researchers that would be able to address the issues of assisted living. Because assisted living is a so wide area, and we need inputs from many perspectives. We build this cost action mostly to serve as an anchor for these ideas. I'm not going to show you the memorandum of understanding. So this is online. If you really are interested, you can just Google it up, and all the documents are there. So we have several research directions here. We work on the analysis of medical data. We work on sensor and actuator platforms. quality of service and experience, detection of activities of daily living, architectures, mostly context architectures for AL, and mobile applications also for assisted living. We have 6 working groups. You can join, any of you, at any time. We have a sensor networks and communication infrastructure, requirement analysis and profiling, platform and protocol analysis, QoS, QE, capacity planning, medical data acquisition algorithms, and finally mobile AL applications and communications. So this covers a wide range, not all of the areas of AL, but it covers a wide range of topics. The cost action itself is governed through a series of committees. We have the Short-Term Scientific Mission Committee, which is a committee that helps students to move around Europe and funds those stays in research labs. We have a training school committee that creates training schools that people can attend to and also funds it. We have the Industrial Liaison Committee that connects with enterprises, so if you are a company and you're interested in this area, please say something. We have the Editorial Committee who handles most of the editorial tasks of the cost action, and we have the Steering Committees, a more closed group that takes most of the hardcore decisions. So, check our website, and if you are interested, email me or talk to me afterwards. Or talk to Professor David Lamas. Okay, so getting back to the PDLC. When you devise a roadmap, it's very important to know who are you going to find on your path. So to know the stakeholders for the PDLC is really important. I've listed a couple of them here, but I have to warn you, these are really fuzzy and dynamic borders because at this time in life, your circle of friends is like this, your family is like this, and then sometime next year, your circle has shifted a little bit, your family is a bit different. And this also includes in what degree you want your personal digital life coach to interact with the community of personal digital life coaches. So it's a really dynamic, fuzzy kind of definition of stakeholders. And taking that into consideration, we have identified 10 major initial requirements for the PDLC. It has to be able to identify a diverse range of activities of daily living, including if the user is brushing the teeth, if it is taking a bath, if it is eating or preparing its meals, or if it is walking, or if it is, I don't know, whatever. It has to be able to decide and to let you know, today it took you 10 minutes to get out of the bathroom, so why did you do that, okay? It has to be able to identify patterns of behavior and using that detect abnormal or unexpected behavior. And this is very, very complicated to do because many people don't have a fixed routine, so it has some issues of research to address here. It has to be able to address how much energy you are spending in your day. This is very important because this is a measure of health. It has to be able to assess, I don't know, estimate, infer, guess, I don't know, the mood of the user. Yesterday you were happy, today you are happy, so everything is okay. Also, it has to be able to allow the user to define its goals. For example, I want to lose weight, I want to quit smoking, I want to hang out more with my friends, I want to be able to read more, I want to be able to write more, I want to be able to get into classes on time. And this poses a huge challenge in terms of the interface of the system with the user itself, because the user cannot just type whatever it wants and expect the system to identify what that means. It has to be, I don't know how to solve this yet, but I'm sure that many of you will have good ideas to solve this. So the interfacing of what I want with the system, it's still, again, another fuzzy area that needs more research. And keep track of what you actually are doing, effective behavior, compacted with the expected behavior. So you were expected to be in class from, I don't know, 9 to 11, but you were not. So what happened? Monitor my vital signs, for example, my ECG, my pulse, my temperature, my blood pressure if possible, and keep a track of that. If there are changes, if there is a life-threatening situation, the PDLC should be able to act as an alerter. It should alert the medical, it should alert my neighbor, it should alert my girlfriend, and so on. And it would also need to integrate error fail-safe mechanisms, making it safe for the user to use, actually. So assuring the user that the advices that the system is giving are not bad advices, but instead are sound and good advices. And you know how complicated it is to get a good advice these days. So, as secondary requirements, it has to be non-intrusive, it has to adapt to the user, and there are many users with many user styles, and it's very complicated to make, for example, typification of the users that we find on ambient assisted living. It's very complicated to profile all the users. It has to communicate with the users using the user natural interface, meaning voice, gestures. And it also has to be able to address the user using voice, imaging, movement, text. For example, we already use movement as a way to interface with our mobile phones. When they vibrate, it's a manner to alert us that something is doing, and in many mobile phones you can personalize the vibrating mode to see if it's a message, if it is a call, so you can actually, before you take the phone off your pocket, you already know what it's there. Okay, it has to be able to network and cooperate with other PLCs, already said that. It has to be able to engage with other agents that reside on the user's machines and talk to them and collect data from the surrounding environment. And finally, it has to work in full compliance of national, international, European regulations and laws, because that's important, laws about privacy, about security, and so on. There are a few challenges to build this machine. We need a platform that has some power, some processing power. It has to be powerful enough to perform data storage to some point. Data storage, data fusion, data imputation. It has to be connected to the internet most of the time. At least part of the system has to be connected, has to be carried by me, has to be able to monitor my signs. Maybe it's a bracelet, maybe it's a watch, I don't know. Maybe it will integrate a set of sensors that are not connected to me directly. And it can communicate with actuators and other hardware that the user interfaces with. And of course, it is safe and guarantees that the user's data is secure. It's not available to other persons to get into the system and steal the data, because that would be really bad. Okay, so the problems is that from the user side, you have some problems, and from the system side, you have some problems. From the user side, for example, maybe the user is not willing to do that. Okay, so maybe the user thinks he needs help, but is not willing to walk that distance that is necessary to collect the data. And if the system is kept in the dark, I mean, if I leave my mobile phone in my hotel room, so what's the point of having this system? From the system side, if we have weak hardware, if we have low processing power, if we'll have low battery life, if we have bad connectivity, then the system will fail, and you cannot rely on the system. So, also, as the system will have different users will have different degrees of expectation. And we have to see different degrees of complexity for the system. We can have just a standalone application. For example, as many of you already have, you have the step counter and the calorie counter that you have on your mobile phone. So this would be generation 0 of this personal digital life coach. But you can also consider that there will be a multi-system agent. My mobile phone connects with my computer in the car, connects with, I don't know, many things, and gets all the data and helps me achieve my personal goals. We can conceive a system that processes the data locally or processes the data in the cloud, for example, or shares data with other PLCs or not. So, is this feasible? Can we do it? I think it is feasible. We still need some hardware to address this, mostly usable hardware that is user adoptable, so we can do it, for sure. And do we need it? I think we do need it. So, the roadmap would be to develop software. And the software would be deployed on mobile devices such as smartwatches, smartphones, and so on. It will enable, for sure, the identification of daily life activities. It will recognize patterns of daily life activities. It will identify deviations from these patterns. It will work with agents, again, software, and cooperate with these agents to feed data into the system. It will integrate all the data, providing a meaningful insight towards the user's goals. It will be able to identify the user's behavior, create acceptable alternatives for the user, and thus allow the user to achieve lifestyle objectives. And this includes, at some point, identifying user emotions, for sure, sharing some data, understand what the data clusters are about, and integrate that fail-safe mechanism I was talking previously regarding, I mean, if the system wants me to interact more with people, it cannot send me straight away to a discotheque or something like that where I know nobody, right? So it has to be a little more wise than this. I was asked to be quick. I think I'm quick, yeah? Not yet, just one more slide. So the main idea of the personal digital life coach is to have a friend inside my mobile computer, inside my mobile phone. Hopefully this friend will be educated, so it will be wise. It will be a good friend who gives good advices regarding what I ask from him. And it will help me achieve the goals that I've set myself. And this, of course, means that I have to decide which goals I want to achieve. And it also means that I may choose not to let my digital friend to bully me, to push me to do things that are way off my comfort zone. So I'm actually looking forward to have a personal digital friend. It's not that I miss friends. I have lots of friends, but I'm looking forward to have a personal digital friend. So I hope you too, and I hope you join me in this quest. Thank you.